So looking at their document that they had to submit to the FDA to get the emergency use authorization, this was some serious adverse events that took place with the Moderna vaccine. It says as of December 3rd, 2020, 13 deaths were reported. 6 of those deaths were people who received the vaccine. 2 deaths in the vaccine groups were in participants greater than 75 years of age with pre-existing cardiac disease. 1 participant died of cardiopulmonary arrest 21 days after dose 1, and another participant died of a heart attack 45 days after dose 2. Another 2 vaccine recipients were found dead at home. The cause of these deaths is uncertain. They had another 70-year-old participant with cardiac disease found dead 57 days after dose 2. And then another patient was 72-year-old who received the vaccine, who ended up going into multi-system organ failure and eventually died. And then they had another vaccine.
They're doubling down and tripling down. Tonight, congressional Democrats have called for a vaccine mandate in Congress. That means everyone in the building, members and staffers, would be required to get a shot that the CDC told us today doesn't work very well, and by the way, whose long-term effects cannot be known. But they're telling you they must get it. You must get it. Your kids must get it in order to return to school. The question is really, how long are Americans going to put up with this? What happens when large groups of people start to resist these mandates, as inevitably they will because they're too unreasonable, they're too irrational, they're not rooted in science? They're pushing us towards something awful. Maybe that's the point of threatening to arrest people who aren't wearing masks at the Capitol. Once they've done that, what will they do next? Call it the National Guard? That'd be fine with the media, apparently. Journalists are doing everything they can to convince you that emergency measures are absolutely necessary and that anyone who doesn't obey is a traitor to the country. Civil rights should be suspended in the case of COVID. They're lying to make that point. In Kansas City, for example, the NBC affiliate KSHB posted this report this week, and it scared the crap out of people. Why wouldn't it? Here's what it said, quote, Children's Mercy Hospital is operating to capacity, not only because of COVID-19 cases among youths who aren't eligible to be vaccinated, but also due to ending mask policies. That was the report. Oh, wow, really? When you get rid of mask policies and when you don't make 3-year-olds get the vaccine, your hospitals fill up and millions die. The ICUs are flooded again, all because children and people who won't wear their masks because they believe in QAnon or they're racists. That's what they're telling you. And not just in Kansas City, everywhere. But is it true? Well, in this case, it's not true. Children's Mercy Hospital said it had no idea what the local news media were talking about. Quote, we continue to be able to meet the needs of our patients requiring hospitalization, the hospital wrote in a statement. The increase in children we're treating as inpatients is mainly due to respiratory illnesses that are not related to COVID. So in other words, no, in Kansas City, the hospitals were not flooded with QAnon believers who refused to wear their masks. They lied about that. So why would they be lying about that? What is all of this about? At the very moment we discover they have been telling us something that is not true, according to the CDC, they redouble their efforts to make you believe what all of us know is false. Listen to what one vaccine expert at the University of Maryland, a woman called Kathleen Newsel, said recently. This is what she said to the Washington Post. Quote, we really need to shift toward a goal of preventing serious disease and disability and medical consequences, and not worry about every virus detected in someone's nose. It's hard to do, but I think we have to become comfortable with coronavirus not going away. We have to become comfortable with coronavirus not going away. What is that?
Shou Chu, which is the CEO of TikTok. You guys keep saying I'm going against community guidelines and taking my content down. Quit doing that before I have to come over to China and straighten shit out over there. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get into the content. Interesting enough, China is back on strict lockdown due to C-19 breakout. Some of the Chinese people are literally killing themselves, committing suicide because they don't have access to any food or water, literally screaming from their houses saying they need help. And what is more alarming is that they have walking drone dogs on the streets telling people to get back in their houses. And you don't think this shit is coming right here in America, you gotta be tripping, right? They have flying drones as well. Get back in the house. You're on lockdown. I know seeing is believing to a lot of you folks out there, so let me show you a quick video of what I'm talking about.
Shanghai remains eerily empty. 26 million people under a massive COVID lockdown, relying on government deliveries, and anger is soaring. Social media showing videos of protests over food and medicine, a supermarket ransacked. At a building where residents have been locked down for 2 weeks, they shout, "We only want supplies. Why are you beating people?" At night, the echoes of people crying out from their windows for help. With the Omicron variant surging here, China is tightening its strict zero COVID rules to contain what is now the country's worst outbreak ever. Tens of thousands of asymptomatic people being corralled into mass quarantine centers. In some cases, children have been separated from their parents, triggering public outcry. American Josh Vaughn got swept up in the dragnet. He's trying to keep his business going from a hospital.
This is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
2 years into the pandemic, there is no easing up on zero COVID here. Robots patrol some streets, reminding people to wear masks.
Here in Beijing, even when there's one case, an entire neighborhood is blocked off. You can see deliveries are passed through a window.
In Shanghai, drones tell people to stay home. Control your soul's desire for freedom, it says, as more cities double down with restrictions.